Alrighty, looks like we're up and ready to go live. Alright, I'll go ahead and test my levels, make sure everything's okay. Alright, sounds good. Alright, y'all, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. Hmm, Donald Trump is always up to something again, right? Not knowing protocol when it comes to governing. Oh boy, definitely this job was not cut out for him, which he openly admitted in an interview. But anyways, this hangout is not about Donald Trump. Um, Wanted to go ahead and give this a quick hangout. Should be on here at least about an hour. Won't take too long, guys. Definitely, I want to cover a lot of things within this hour. Hopefully, I can squeeze in some people into so we can chat up a little bit because I have to head to a credit union pretty soon. Hey, what up, Derek? What up, man? What up, man? Yeah, a lot of craziness going on. Wilder's counter offer and Eddie Hearn's calling it a bluff. Shelly Finko came out and, well, Lou Developers confirmed it yesterday that it's not a PR stunt. It's actual realistic. Then Shelly Finko came out and took exception to Eddie Hearn's words when Eddie Hearn claimed that this was all a PR stunt. I will definitely get into that. I'm going to read the letter, the email that was leaked by Shelly Finko so that way the public can see it. And then I'll give you my thoughts on that. Dwayne, what's going on, man? I'm good, man. Good, good. Got lots of things to talk about other than what's in the title. So, um, first things first, I want to cover the WBC rule that prevented Dillian Whyte from getting a mandatory shot at Deontay Wilder, okay? Because I know there's been a lot of confusion on what's going on here. Eddie Hearn came out and he was upset. He was very vocal about that WBC decision to mandate Dillian Whyte to fight Luis Ortiz, okay, in the final title eliminator. He claiming that he got a written guarantee from Mauricio Suleiman that the Dominic Brazil and the Eric Molina fight will not be ruled as a final title eliminator, which was initially ruled at that time. And then Mauricio Suleiman not only gave Eddie Hearn his written word that this was not going to be a final title eliminator, but Mauricio Suleiman himself came out publicly and stated that there was not a final title eliminator. All right. Now we're at this point where Dillian Whyte and Dominic Brazil, both of them, are now going out saying that they're the mandatory challenger. And then Eddie Hearn gets the email from the WBC, which was a few days ago, ordering his fighter Dillian Whyte to fight what's his name, Luis Ortiz, right? And of course, Eddie Hearn took exception to that. He said, "Well, why? Wait a minute. What do you mean? I thought, basically we're the I thought we were the the mandatory." And then the representative who ordered the fight says, "No, no, no, no. You're not the mandatory. Dominic Brazil is the mandatory." And this is where all the confusion comes into play. Eddie Hearn's like, "Wait a minute. You guaranteed us that we will not, that fight that you mandated, that you sanctioned with Brazil and Molina would not be a final title eliminator. What's going on, Charlie?" And of course, Eddie said that he's going to have his correspondents draft a letter to the WBC to perhaps provide a more explanation about it. And to me, again, as I stated in my one of my previous video uploads, Eddie Hearn seems to be he doesn't want to seem to press the issue because he himself has a pretty cozy relationship with the WBC because he also has many of his fighters ranked in that sanctioning body. I'll give you, for example, like Kell Brook. Kell Brook only had one fight so far. That's against Sergey Rabchenko, which is his sparring partner, basically, back in the day, right? The WBC sanctioned that fight for the silver title, and Rabchenko wasn't ranked that high. I don't think he was ranked at all by the WBC. But yeah, I'm sure he was ranked. He was probably ranked number 13th or something like that, whatnot. And Kell Brook, his first fight, beats Rabchenko, knocks him out in the fourth round, I think. And all of a sudden, Kell Brook is the number fourth ranked guy in the WBC with the silver championship, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So Gary J. Williams says that Whyte hasn't fought a top 10 fighter, so you have to earn those title shots. Well, that is a good point. I mean, yeah, he fought Joshua, but he didn't win that fight. So yeah, you have a good point, but he did fight some reasonable opponents like Chisora. Brown, even though that Lucas Brown was on a very, very long layoff and out of shape. Robert Hellenius is a decent fighter. Ian Lewison on domestic level is okay. And Dave Allen. So he fought some okay opponents, but yeah, to your point, he hasn't really beaten a top 10 opponent yet. I mean, he fought Joshua, but that fight happened long ago while those guys were both prospects still. Very good heavyweight fight, by the way. Um, but anyhow, um, so Eddie Hearn's very upset about this because he even said in his interview, look, if we had beaten Lucas Brown, this is what he said, we were either going to become the mandatory or we will fight in a final title eliminator. So yeah, Eddie did clear that up because my initial assumption was that the Lucas Brown fight was the final title eliminator. So and he's not happy to hear that this guy has to fight Luis Ortiz. That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, and I really believe that her and Whyte don't have no problem fighting in the title eliminator. I think the main issue is that the guy that they're fighting is what they're upset about because they're not keen on fighting Ortiz. And as I have to mention again, Dillian Whyte is willing to fight any other heavyweight except for him. All right, that's well evident. But let me just go ahead and share you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do a screen share here, and we're gonna go over the rules. Okay, what prevented Dillian Whyte from getting the title shot, okay? And let's see if anybody can see. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around a little bit. Let's do a screen share. I think this is going to work. All right. Can anybody see my screen? All right. I'll present to everyone. Okay. Let's see if you can see. Nope. Let me see. Okay, there we go. All right. So you guys where it says the silver championship right there. Okay, let's look at it again. Hold on. We're going to look at it together. All right. So you see the resolution point 20 resolutions point 24 section 24, okay? I'm going to highlight it for you so we can all go over it together. The silver championship. Now Dillian Whyte holds the silver championship with the WBC in the heavyweight division, okay? Now it says here, in its discretion on such terms and conditions as it may impose, the WBC may designate or order and award the WBC Silver Championships of the world in each weight class. The WBC Silver Championship is a world title superior to all WBC championships except for the world or diamond belts. The WBC may designate the challengers for a silver championship from among any qualified challengers. Now, exactly how in the hell is Sergey Rubenko a qualified challenger for the silver title when he fought Kell Brook? All right, but anyways, this is not about Kell Brook. But anyways, a silver championship must comply with all the defenses and other obligations applicable to the WBC World Champions hereunder as the WBC shall order its in the discretion. A silver champion shall not be a mandatory challenger for the WBC World Championship. I'll repeat, a silver champion shall not be mandatory challenger for the WBC World Championship absent winning a final elimination bout for the world title, unless a written exception has been authorized by a majority vote by the Board of Governors of the WBC under its sole discretion. There you have it. I'm going to go back here to the chat. There you go. There you have it. So let's have a little hypothetical here. Let's say Dominic Brazil was not made the mandatory, okay? Let's say he was not the mandatory. He was just a voluntary defense, which we all assume that's the case. The problem is that Dillian Whyte was not going to get an immediate shot at the mandatory challenger because he has to fight in the final title eliminator. And the whole narrative is that the silver belt champion will, whoever holds the silver title will be guaranteed a mandatory shot if they beat a couple more ranked opponents. That's not true. The silver champion does not get mandated to fight the WBC world champion. Only the interim champion does. So Dillian Whyte would have to fight in the final title eliminator, whether Brazil was made mandatory or not. And I think the whole issue is, again, to my point, is that the WBC I'm sorry, not the WBC. Yeah, the WBC ordered him to fight Luis Ortiz. I think it's more about the opponent rather than what's. I mean, again, it is principle, but I think they're more terrified of the. Not say terrified. I just think they're more upset about the opponent that Dillian Whyte will have to fight to get that shot at Wilder. That's the problem. So again, were you guys able to see it? Let me know. I can go ahead and zoom in again so we can all look at it together one more time. Let me know in the comment section. Champ Ross, what's going on? Charlie Brown, I never got you. Ross Clot, you always there, brother. EJ Boxing Lies, M. Reynolds, Amir Shahu. Okay, 1224529. What's going on, sister? Dale Sturk. Going on? A new guy in here. Neither guy has beaten anyone to deserve the mandatory. White and Brazil should fight each other. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Dale Stark. I have no problem with that at all. No problem at all. Fight Melina to get shot at Wilder's a joke. I hear you. I hear you on that, man. I hear you. But to be fair though, before Melina fought, I'm sorry, before Wilder fought Melina, he did. I mean, sorry, before Brazil fought Melina, he did fight undefeated Ishii Ugano, who was ranked, I think, in the top 10 by the WBC, and I think he was top 10. And then Brazil knocked him out. So yeah. Oh, come on, Beats. Seriously, but I'll go ahead and read it to you again. Here's the rule. Here's the rule. I'm gonna show it to you. As you can see here, this is the rule. I'm gonna get you on here in a second, Beats. We'll talk about it. In its discretion of such terms and conditions that it may impose, the WBC may designate or order the award silver champions of the world in each weight class. The silver championship is a world title superior to all WBC championships except the world or diamond belts. The WBC may designate the challengers for a silver championship among any qualified challengers. A silver champion is hereunder as the WBC shall order in its discretion. A silver champion shall not be mandatory challenger for the WBC World Championship in absence winning a final elimination bout for the world title. Let me repeat that. A silver champion shall not be a mandatory challenger for the world title absent winning a final elimination bout, unless there was a written exception that's been authorized by a majority vote by the Board of Governors of the WBC under its sole discretion. So again, if Dillian Whyte have got written exemption to become mandatory rather than fighting an eliminator, the Board of Governors will have to approve it. I'm not sure if Eddie Hearn has written exemption for that, but apparently that didn't happen. Now, given the fact that Don Brazil somehow, some way was named mandatory, that would not have mattered because Dillian Whyte will still have to fight in the title eliminator to get the mandatory shot. He will still have to do it. Trust me, I know he has every right to be upset. I know he does, but that's the rule right there. That's the loophole right there that the WBC can use against Whyte. That's what's going on, man. I'm sorry. Man, I know, guys. Look, again, I totally understand why Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn's upset about this, but I'm just showing to you that's the loophole that the Board of Governors of WBC are using against them. There it is, right there. It's a fucked up rule, and they've been paying sanction fees. Sanction fees, fight after fight after fight. It's a fucked up thing, but they knew better when they got into that silver title situation. They known about that, so. I know it's a fucked up situation. That means if I'm sorry, if Brazil is indeed the mandatory and Wilder does beat him, which he's expected to do, if he knocks him out, then he's not due for another mandatory defense for another 12 months, which is kind of strange because I'm going to be very impartial here because Wilder beat Stavern in November of last year, and that was a mandatory fight. And Mauricio Suleiman at that time stated that Wilder has 1 year. Doesn't have to do. He's not due for another mandatory until this year, November, which is 1 year. Or again, there's a loophole. It's 1 year, but any mandatory fight can be invoked within that year. I don't know, man. This is very strange stuff, man. It's very, very murky stuff. But yeah, we this is very on you. This is very murky stuff. It's a fucked up situations, but again, exactly, Champ Ross. It's a loophole, and they're able to get away with it. It's they leave out a lot of loopholes in there and shit, and that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a loophole that they're using against Hearn and Whyte, and that's why Hearn knows that. That's why he's like, shit, we got to deal with it. I mean, they don't have to take the fight, but if they really want the shot at Wilder, then that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to fight Ortiz. Rosclot says Whyte will beat Ortiz. You want to put your money on that, Rosclot? You want to put your money on that? All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. There we go. All right. Dwayne Jones is like, hell no. Roscott not even. No, he won't. Roscott. Whyte knows it. Yeah, yeah. I have to agree with you, Dwayne. I think Whyte knows that he may not be able to win that fight. That's why he's pissed off about why the WBC has mandated him to fight Ortiz. Yeah. Chris says that Whyte and Hearn deserves this. Really? You think they deserve what was coming to them by the WBC? Explain that, Chris. All right, let me get the gang in here because I know we're gonna chop this up. Jane Fuller says Whyte knocks out Ortiz. Ortiz is too old. Well, I mean, hey, he's capable of doing that, but Whyte doesn't really believe he's confident that he could do that based off his reaction. He called out every other heavyweight except for Luis Ortiz before this ruling was put out by the WBC a few days ago, and I wonder why. I mean, hey, it's a good fight, but Dillian Whyte shouldn't be complaining. I mean, he's the one who disrespected Ortiz, called him an old 85-year-old man when Wilder fought him. And he did that just to discredit Wilder's win against Ortiz. Now that he's been mandated to fight this 85-year-old man, he doesn't seem too confident about it. So if it's that easy, Dillian, then you maybe should get in the ring with him and prove to us that that he can knock out Ortiz better than Wilder can. I mean, Amir says, "Hey, get me in there." All right, Amir, give me 1 second. Let me get the other guys in here first. Let's see. All right, EJ, all you guys, give me a minute. I'll get you guys in here. I know we're gonna chop it up. Let's see. Hop on, people. We're gonna make this real quick because I won't be on too long because I have to be out. I have to take care of some business at the credit union. There you go. All right, let's do this. There we go. All right, cool. Give you a minute. All right. The MOB is here to call out Dan's bias as towards Wilder. Don't you start, Rocks Clyde. You want to come on here? I'm not being biased, bruh. I mean, you have no right to call anybody biased when it comes to Golovkin. I'm fucking with you. Let me see. Money man. What's going on, man? He says Miller Ortiz will kill Whyte. He's too sloppy. Uh, yeah, he has been uncoordinated, and he doesn't have the fastest hand speed. I mean, he does have respectable power as a puncher, but yeah, Whyte does seem to be a little bit uncoordinated sometimes. He's not very agile, athletic as Wilder. Yeah, Wilder may be sloppy too, but he makes that up for his speed and his awkwardness and his agility, I should say, and his athleticism. He makes up for that. So let me see. If Whyte can get past 6 rounds, he can knock out Ortiz. Yeah, you know what, Io? He can, like I say, he's capable of doing it, but he's got to make Ortiz work. And the thing is that Deontay Wilder was able to make Ortiz work because of his awkwardness and his unorthodox style, and Dillian Whyte is no Deontay Wilder. Rounds he can knock out Ortiz. You know what I mean? That's a fight that's very hard to prepare. Let's see who's in here. Boxing beats the Rhymes. You want to meet your side, brother? Deontay Wilder was able to make Ortiz work because of his awkwardness and his unorthodox style, and Dillian Whyte. There you go. What's going on, man? Oh, no.
What's up, Dan?
What's up, big dog? Hey, you want to mute? You mute
I need to read that ruling as well, man. I need to read it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, man. I'm not saying the WBC is in the right. What I'm saying is that that's the loophole they can use against Hearn and Whyte. Because as a silver champion, you're not automatically named mandatory. you still have to fight in the title eliminator. And I think again to my assumption, I think Hearn even said himself that he have no problem doing that, but I think they're upset as more as the opponent. Yeah, you have the other principle too. I get that as well.
But
I think it's the opponent.
But they moved the goalposts with the Molina fight. They made it a final eliminator when it wasn't. It wasn't a final eliminator. Answer me this. What would they have done if Eric Molina won? Would they have let Eric Molina challenge Wilder? You reckon?
Hell no. Like hell no. They would not have asked that. No.
Right.
They would not have made that happen. But this is why it's confusing, because Mauricio Suleiman came out and said it publicly that was not a final time eliminator. We got the articles on that. And now what's up?
How did Eric Molina get to fight in the final eliminator? Do you know? Look. If you look at it, right? After he lost to Joshua, yeah, he got mopped up by Joshua, yeah.
Right.
He fought someone with a 13-35 record in his next fight and won a majority decision. How did he get into a final eliminator?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. He should not have even gotten in the final eliminator. We all protested that. I mean, when that fight got announced as a final eliminator, everyone protested that. Mauricio Suleiman knew the backlash was too harsh, so that's why he had to change the ruling on that. You know, he had to overrule the board of governors on that.
Eliminator thing. What eliminators did Stabern win in his second fight to fight Wilder? What eliminators did he win?
None. And I protested that. I made videos about that. I said Stabern should not be being placed as a mandatory after being with Derek Rossi.
Basically, that ruling that you read out, they contradicted totally, didn't they?
Are they contradicting themselves? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't say they're contradicting themselves. It just says here. It says here unless it's. Wait, hold on. It says under. Here's the thing. This rule, basically, if you read between the lines, this rule can be altered under their discretion. You know what I mean? This is what it is. But if it doesn't get the rule under their discretion, they're going to enforce it, like with Dillian Whyte. They're not making it mandatory unless you fight in the final title eliminator against their opponent of their choosing. That's what this is.
Well, Stabern didn't fight nobody for 2 years. For how long? He didn't fight no eliminators. He didn't fight no ranks.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Give me a link to that ruling you had there, if you could.
Okay, cool. I'll give it to you. Yeah, it's a fucked up ruling, man. This is the loophole they're using against Whyte and Hearn, and I think Hearn knows that too, and that's why he's not trying to call it corruption. You know, other side to the fact that you know he has many of his fighters ranked with that sanctioning body. He doesn't want to tear that relationship with them, so he's just like, all right, fuck it, we gotta deal with it. We might as well just go the IBF route and deal with it another time or something like that. There's no point of fighting it. You know what I mean? That's what he's looking at, because you have to look at it another way. My fight at least got a lot of options, so it's not like this is not the only option we got, you know? So, but like I said, it's a fucked up situation, but that rule, these loopholes that these sanction bodies can use, it's really fucked up, and it's what's kind of fucking up the sport of boxing. It's been fucking it up for many years and decades. But
didn't we know that this was going to happen before?
We didn't know that. That's the thing. We didn't know that.
Because the WBC did say that, you know, the winner of Brazil Molina would be the mandatory.
Well, that's what they initially stated, but Mauricio Suleiman came out publicly, and Eddie Hearn even admitted that he was provided in a written commitment or something like that fight was not a final title eliminator. In fact, Mauricio Suleiman came out publicly and said there was not a final title eliminator. That's when everybody was like, okay, cool, because there was a big protest behind that from the public.
Because I remember him saying that it was. He clearly said it was you know, the winner of that fight would be mandatory.
Yeah, he did say that.
He said it himself.
Yeah, he did say it, and then he came out and retracted that and said, "Oh no, it's not a final time limit."
Yeah.
So he keeps contradicting himself. That's the problem. He keeps doing it, and this is what pissing everybody off. And like I said, man, I don't think, and as I said before you guys came on, let's just say hypothetically Brazil was not made mandatory, right? He's a voluntary defense. Whyte would still have to fight in the final eliminator. He won't be named mandatory unless he fights in that eliminator and wins that fight. Either way. So either way, he's going to have to fight in that eliminator. It doesn't matter if he's second mandatory or not.
What fight eliminator or any eliminator did Stabern fight for the second shot against Wilder?
Nothing. Well, that's a Don King pull. We all know that, man. We all know you know. It's a fucked up situation. I agree with you on that. I totally agree.
It's still down to.
Let let me tell you this now. Wilder didn't fight no final. He fought an eliminator to fight Stavern. He didn't fight no final eliminator, though.
True. Well, actually, wasn't them Lee Scott fight that was not the final time eliminator when he fought him? I thought that was. Yeah, I think it was. It was. That's how he was named the mandatory challenger to the winner of what you call it, Stavern and Ariella.
Well, I think what he done is that he ensured that he could get himself back on the network permanently, because he's always been on the network, but he wanted to secure that. This is Wilder. This is what I'm thinking.
Right.
So so Stavern came about. They fabricated that story with Ortiz. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna say it worked on both sides. They were both able to swerve him, but then what happened? Deontay, said he would fight him, and then it changed everything. So
right. Yeah, you got to get Wilder.
Changed him the fact that he's fought him, should I say? Sorry.
Yeah.
As well, it's changed things a great deal.
Yeah, it has changed the landscape on it, in part of the heavyweight division when he took on Ortiz. I mean, Wilder was the only guy who wanted to fight him. Yeah. He was literally the only heavyweight that wanted to fight.
Should fight Ortiz anyway.
You know what they actually do? What they do, they put fights out just as an eliminator, and then when they want to strategically move the chess pieces, then they'll make it a final. Then they'll say it's or then they'll say it's not. That's what they're doing. See, because with the Malik Scott Wilder fight, you can't see if it's a final eliminator or not. It just says eliminator.
Oh, okay. So it was not a final eliminator. Then what? Sure. Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to. Or then, what fight was a final eliminator then? At that time, did they have it in final elimination bout at that time?
They'd probably say that was, but it doesn't say it.
All right. Well, here's the thing. You do know, though. Again, according to these rules and bylaws, any ruling that they have is within the discretion if they want to enforce it or not. So that's a big loophole right there with these sanctioned bodies. It's not just the WBC; it's all the sanctioned bodies. Even though we have rules and bylaws committees put in place, but we have our discretion to enforce it or not. We can manipulate it if we want to, and that's nothing you can really do about that.
Yeah, it's because of pullouts and cancellations and stuff like that. That's the reason why they have that loophole.
Right, exactly. That's a good point, because
you must go on. That's basically what it is. I mean, there is a guideline, what I mean, for everybody to adhere to. But yeah, the loophole is usually in terms of business, just television networks, people pulling out short notice.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because they need those sanction fees. They gotta survive without. You can't survive without those sanction fees. They need to make money, so they're gonna continue to manipulate the rules or under discretion as much as they want to, so they get paid. That's the way it is. So that's a good point, Charlie. But let me look at the comment section, man. This is some interesting comments coming in.
It was a final eliminator.
Oh, it was. Okay. So that the Whyte and the Wilder and Scott fight was a final eliminator. Okay. All right. So Wilder did fight in the final eliminator. All right. So Money Man says that Whyte is a dumpster juice and he doesn't think he can beat Miller or Ortiz. I mean, well, he has been dismissed about Big Baby Miller as well. I know he doesn't want to fight. No, he's not keen about fighting Ortiz. So let's see. St. Cruz said, I'm surprised that Sean Porter is avoiding Spence. Well, that is evidence, St. Cruz, and we all know that Porter don't want to fight Spence. We know that. The Fox Strike says that WBC is catering to North American and Hispanic fighters as well. Well, they cater to everybody. Fox, they cater to even Eddie Hearns fighters in Britain. So let's come on, man. Or Frank Warren. Come on, man. You can't have it one-sided, Fox. I mean, all promoters and managers pull strings with the sanctioned bodies. It's not just Heyman or King. Come on. Let's see. Champ Ross is the what's up? Go ahead.
Al Heyman pulled a favor from them, man.
Yeah, he did. I think he did. I agree with you on that. I think he did. But it's a fucked up situation, is the way it is, man. It's been like this for many decades. The Champ Ross says the WBC has to dump that silver title. It means nothing. It has so many loopholes that Mike Phelps can dive through.
I was thinking, man, like, it won't do no good, but man, I just advise fighters not to fight for that thing, man. Useless.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's why Eddie Hearn's so pissed off about it. He's like, dude, we went this route, we went the silver belt route, we paid all these sanction fees, and this is what we get. You putting us an eliminator against this guy? That's what they're probably upset about. But like I said, they have every right to be upset. But I think they're gonna have to go the IBF route. That's what Money Man is saying right here. Money Man is like, look, they're gonna go the IBF route. I think that's what they're hitting on anyway. So let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Low band profits, not low place. His LLP says Whyte has never beaten the top 10 heavyweight. Oh, you want to address that, Beats?
Where was Lucas Brown was ranked?
Yeah.
You're wrong there for a start.
Yeah,
you're wrong there.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I think I already named already. I mean, he hasn't fought a top 10 opponent, but he did fight a top 10 ranked sanctioned body opponent, which is Derek Chisora in the WBC. I think Chisora was ranked number 8 when he fought him. Then he fought Elanius, who was ranked number 10, I think. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm gonna get you that link, brother. Give me 1 second. And I think he fought a couple ranked opponents in the WBC, which is in the top 10. I think he did. So, I mean, he fought some decent opponents along the way. We can't discredit Whyte too much. You know what I mean? He definitely deserves the right to have a shot at the title. But then again, this is this loophole rule that he's got to go through as a silver champion. You got to fight in the final title eliminator. You have to. So that's the way.
Well, so you have to be ranked to fight for that belt then.
Right.
Elanius, he fought Elanius. Was he ranked? I don't know.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he was. Him and Lucas Brown were ranked, but they weren't ranked high. He has to. Technically, he should have, before he even won that silver belt. Before that belt became available, I forgot how it became available, but he should have had to fight somebody in the top 3 anyway, or top 5, should I say? So this is the acid test for Dillian.
It was a move to say, like, when Wilder takes on Brazil, they can say, yeah, look, he's taking on his mandatory.
Yeah,
right.
I understand. You know,
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, go ahead, Charlie. You want to say something?
No. It's just I don't know, kind of sort of the way I think Hearns, obviously he separated the 2 paths that he's put Dillian Whyte and AJ on. You know what I mean? For obvious reasons, for money reasons as well. But I think Dillian, he needs to be matched well. So
yeah,
it's imperative that he fights Luis Ortiz. If he needs to improve a great deal.
Yeah, I agree. Well. I agree. He needs a proper test. I think that's
before he takes on Wilder. Because I have to be real. I have to be honest. I think Wilder could hurt Dillian Whyte possibly quite.
Yeah. He does need You think he needs a stiffer test before he goes into Wilder, man? Yeah, because fighting a Lucas Brown, that ain't gonna kind of cut it. Yeah.
He's starting to build a good resume when you look at it. Anthony Joshua, when you look at the people he's starting to fight, Lucas Brown, Helenius, so forth. But he needs a few more bodies on that record. He's got Chisora as well, but he needs more.
Right.
And I think Ortiz is the perfect time. There's going to be no better time for him if he's going to beat Ortiz. It's now.
What they're going to say? They say you just banged over somebody. You beat Wilder, you just knocked him out. That's the only reason you beat him.
No, he don't deserve that. I mean, no. Here's the thing: if he knocks out Ortiz, he deserves full credit for that. Because if you think about it, if the fight does get made, he's going to be an underdog, and people expect him to lose that fight. Many of us don't. Many of them not even get him a shot of winning it. I mean, he's capable of winning it, but
the anti-Herbert grade, I'm not going to.
Well, let me ask you guys this: if he takes the Kubra Pulev route, don't you think that's a good test as well for him? If he fights Pulev?
Yes, it is, but it's no good for him. That's why he doesn't want that fight. That fight's no good for him.
Right, because he's trying to consolidate all the belts with his guys. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
He wants the green belt. He needs someone to grab that green belt.
Yeah. Well, apparently,
that's what it is, really. That's why that fight doesn't suit. It doesn't. Yeah, it's a good body to have on the resume, though. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the ring against Pulev, just as an extra body before taking on Ortiz. Maybe he could take on Ortiz if it's mandatory. Take him on later on in the year and summertime fight Pulev and Wilder. That would be good. Sorry, Pulev and Ortiz, should I say? That would be good on his resume, and that will set him up for 2 big fights next year.
Yeah, I mean, he said Ortiz is an 85-year-old man. He'll knock him out easier than Wilder is. I mean, there he is. There's your shot.
Yeah, but he's not saying that now.
He's saying that now. There's your shot, Dillian. I'm just saying, man. We got to hold you to your words. There's your shot. I really want him to take that fight, to be honest with you. What's up, Dwayne? Would you want to say something, brother?
Yeah, no, I just want to say that you're gonna catch him sleeping on them ropes.
Ah man, I mean Dillian, man, like I said, man, he needs to take. I think he should take that fight. But I'm gonna go back to the comment section. Mr. Boxing all day, not Mr. Boxing today. Mr. Boxing all day says there that Whyte skated around the top 10 opponents. I think he should be mandated to fight Ortiz. Everybody's ducking this guy in some shape or form. If not fight Ortiz, then Brazil. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Whyte versus Brazil, but that fight ain't gonna happen anytime soon because Brazil's more likely gonna fight Wilder. So, I mean, they're both good matchups either way. But yeah, like I said, I mean, Dillian. Hey, you know what's funny though? Antonio Tarver even blasted Dillian Whyte on Twitter, saying, "Stop crying. You need to take the Ortiz fight." Tarver came at him hard. Yeah.
The way Gerald Miller did it today, yeah, was so funny. It was just like they liked him. So, what do you think about Dillian Whyte complaining about he's not happy with the WBC? He was like, "Good luck, bro. Good luck fighting Ortiz."
Well, Dillian Whyte, I mean, not Dillian Whyte, Jarrell Miller can't complain either because that fool was asked about fighting Luis Ortiz. He ducked the question. I remember, I saw an interview on that. I'm like, oh, all right, see, what's going on here? What's up with these heavyweights? Like, why they have a problem? Why they reluctant to name Luis Ortiz?
Look. So, see, this is what I'm saying, right? Blaming the fighters, right? We live in an era where there's so much loopholes to get out of fighting, and there's so much option to try and get to the top, right? Of course, they're going to do that. They couldn't do that back in the day like that. They couldn't do that, man. They couldn't just run and get fringe belts or, get the sanctioning body to do them solid, unless they were hooked up with the mob and stuff like that. Couldn't do that.
Right. That's true. True.
Right. Of course, they're gonna look for the lesser path to resistance. Of course.
But every top heavyweight's doing that to Ortiz, Beast. Don't you find that kind of strange?
Listen, Wilder weren't gonna fight him unless because he knew he had to provide something not just for the networks, but for his reputation as champion. He needed a body, right? The WBC only elevated him now, right? Because they wanted to engineer the board, man.
Yeah. I hear you on that. So Mr. Boxing all day says that Eddie Hearn is trying to play the supreme puppet master, trying to orchestrate the heavyweight division 2, where all the belts will be at his house. In-house, no problem. He's being outsmarted with the people who's done it longer. We're talking about that negotiation thing that went down today. Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Boxing? Let's talk about that for a second, man. I'm sure you guys had commented on the Shelly Fakel email. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. They're all meeting up tomorrow. That's what, according to Eddie Hearn, they're meeting up with Shirley Winkle and all of that, and we'll see.
He called him Shirley, man. He called him Shirley. That shit is funny. I ain't gonna lie. That shit is funny though.
You know what it is? Yeah, it's just one of them ones where we're just gonna have to wait until the meeting because it's just he said, she said, man. That's
it's a lot of hype. It's just a lot of hype. You know what I mean? I think it's come out. But it seems a bit childish though, coming out and saying, if you don't take this in 24 hours.
Yeah, like that's my problem. Like, if
I agree.
Like such a good thing, why would you say you got 24 hours and then they're meeting on Friday anyway? Like,
well, it's kind of similar with her.
Right, that it's a PR stunt.
Yeah, it's funny though. That's a good point. But this is kind of similar what Hearn did to them. He's like, look, you guys have 48 hours to accept what we're sending you. It's like, okay. But we all know that's all bluffing right there. It's not going to take 48 or 24 hours to accept an agreement. They need time to go over the provisions and discuss further details of the provisions in the agreement. The proposal. You know?
That's like my thing when I was like there's sometimes when I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, the fight could happen this year. Then I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, the fight will happen. Like Dan said, it will happen next year. Like every time 1 minute is gonna happen this year, then it's like, oh no, it's gonna happen next year.
No, it's gonna happen next year. It ain't happening this year. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one. If they do somehow come up with a date later this year, I'll be surprised. But it's gonna happen next year. It ain't happening anytime soon. And Dale Sturck agrees with me on it. He said, look, this is all a ploy to build the fight. Neither guy wants to fight each other next. It'll happen next summer. Yeah, I think so. I have to agree. It's gonna be drawn out to next year.
If it's next summer, that's about 2 fights, maybe about 2 fights. So who was Wilder's next 2 fights be? It will be Brazil, and do you think he'll rematch Ortiz, or you think he'll fight Whyte?
It could be either one. It could be well, if Whyte goes through the Ortiz fight, I would assume it's going to be Ortiz. Now, if Whyte goes the IBF route, I mean, it's going to be Ortiz either way. or hopefully it could be Povetkin. I'd rather see Wilder fight Povetkin. Tell you the truth, I think that fight should be made. I could see him fight
his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, did it with Ortiz? Why not? So I mean, I see low places in here. What's going on, low place?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The more I think about it too, I think they're gonna be dragging stuff out. But then again, you do look at it on the other side and say, you think about Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Anytime you think about the drag out, rightfully so. Yeah. Even if you think one party was at fault with Floyd and Pacquiao, you still sort of think they both, kind of fucked you over a bit. So I just look at them and I think they may not have the opponents to drag it out. They don't got no Cotto to go fight, no Victor Ortiz's, Tim Bradley's. The heavyweights, I mean, maybe Usyk and Murat Gassi have come up and they could maybe, but I just don't see it right now. I just don't see it. They don't got them years to wait.
I agree, but I would say if it happens 2 fights, say they have 2 fights in between, don't you think AJ will fight Tyson Fury?
Yeah, I forgot about him. See, that's how fucked up the division is, man.
Yeah, that's the wild card. Well, maybe Tyson. Yeah, maybe Wilder might be.
I can't wait for it to happen, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Maybe Wilder be fighting Tyson Fury for the. They'll be fighting, and that's that could possibly happen.
I guess Fury's just that irrelevant to me that I fucking forgot. But it's what it is.
I'm looking at it like Fury's gonna fight about 3 bums that no one's ever heard of. Then by the summer you got, say if they have AJ and Wilder have 2 fights, AJ's gonna look at it like, do I go for Wilder or do I go for Fury? So I don't know. I just think he'll probably go for Fury.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. Speaking of Fury, I know he said they need 2 or 3 fights, but do you think 3 fights is enough that he's gonna have to fight a top challenger? Do you think he can get away with fighting the 4th bum? You guys in the UK? No, you don't think so, Dwayne? You think he can get away with that?
Fury's not in shape.
He looks
Fury is currently trolling. He's hoping that something will spark in the universe and he'll become his former self. Fury is a disposable force. He's done. He's done. He's not in shape.
For me,
you can lose weight at Jake Craig, right? But that's got nothing to do with elite heavyweight boxing. Yeah, that's one of them big shots on your neck, which you ain't been used to, with the proper gloves and shit. You know what I mean? Heavyweight gloves. Let's see. You catch one of them shots from Wilder or Joshua or Miller or any of them guys, and we'll see. We'll see how hard it is for it.
That's true.
I just think Fury only came back because he looks at the Joshua fight as the big payday, and that's it.
No, he needs the money because he's got kids, innit? He's got 4 kids, so we know why he's come back. But like I've always said, I think this year he needs to. I don't think they need to be bums necessarily, but they at decent level. He needs to be consistent this year. At least 3 fights this year. Tyson Fury, you know what I mean? Before next year, we could talk about super fights. Because if he goes in there with Wilder or Joshua right now, he's getting hurt, man.
Yeah, he's gonna get beat up.
He's the best win in the world. He won't be, because it's been too long out of the ring.
Yeah. Here's the thing I want to say though, because people are gonna say, "Well, Sugar Ray Leonard did it. Why can't Tyson Fury do it?" I'm like, "Nah, he ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard. All right, Sugar Ray Leonard was a multi-division."
No, it's not that. Like Sugar Ray Leonard done it, but SugarRay Leonard was in shape and he was sparring, and and he was training.
But you gotta look at it like this, right?
Yeah.
When Sugar Ray Leonard did it, he'd been studying Hagler for literally half his career, right? He pulled out of that thing. Where was it? I can't remember it now, man. He pulled out, said, "Oh, this fight will never happen." After he pulled all the boxing press, I think. I can't remember it.
It was 82. It was 82 that happened. It was 1982. Yeah.
Let me just finish my point quickly, right? It's quite important to talk, right? He fought Hagler, and because he studied Hagler so well, and he had time to rectify his game plan, he got knocked over sparring by Quincy Taylor. Not knocked over. He took a debilitating shock, and he was out on his feet. So he adjusted his game plan, and he made the perfect game plan for Hagler. But you watch every fight after that he had. He was on the floor against Lalonde. He was on the floor against Hearns twice. Norris fucked him up. Right? He never had a good fight after the Hagler fight. Not one. Even because Lalonde, remember, he drained Lalonde severely. He drained Lalonde. He never had one good fight after that. And that was that layoff, man. That layoff fucked him up. And the more he laid off, the worse it got. When he laid off again, fought Terry Norris was just beating him up all around the ring, outpointing him. When he came back against Camacho in the 90s, Camacho knocked him out. And Camacho couldn't punch for shit. Yeah, Muhammad Ali, same thing. He had about the same time of Tyson Fury did, and when he came back, that's when he accumulated all the damage. In the second phase of his career, that's where all the damage was accumulated.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, man. I mean Leonard, yeah, when he had that third Durant fight, that was trash. Hey, somebody's got a mute on the other end. Let me see.
So let me ask you.
Yep. Yeah, that's Beats. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One more point before you go. Sorry, Logan. One more point quickly, right? So what I'm saying is, right, he can get himself in shape, right? And there might be one or two fights where he actually looks good. And then the body will just collapse. Because what it is, when you're consistently training with continuity, it keeps you fit for the long haul of fights, for your career, for the long haul. You've got to be consistent with it. So he might look good in a couple of fights and people say he's back. Then what? Next fight, oh, Fury's down. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be the same fighter, whether he takes 4 or 5 tune-ups or 6 tune-ups. He's not going to be the same fighter. He's abused his body for the last 3 years. He snorted too much cocaine. That's going to really change a person's individual, change a person from let's just say from a psychological or not just psychological, but from a performance standpoint, man. Because coke can fuck up your body in many ways, man. And all them drug taking, I don't think he's the same fighter either way it goes. I just don't. I mean, if he could beat Wilder or Joshua, congrats. But I just don't see him beating them at all at this point. I don't care how good in shape he is right now. I don't think he could beat them.
People just want the anti-hero. That's what it is. They want the anti-hero now. They want it like a Hollywood thing. He comes back from the dead, you know what I mean? Back from obscurity, drug overdoses,
Hollywood.
This kind of shit. Yeah, proper Hollywood thing. He comes in and then he beats Joshua. It just ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, man.
Yeah, he ain't beating Joshua or Wilder. Yeah, he ain't beating.
I have to be real about it. I have to be real about it. Until we see a lot of these heavyweights against good opposition, an opposition that can move, like each one of them like faced similar opposition, we can't talk. I want to see Dillian Whyte and Ortiz, man.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Man, let me get that question to Beast, because he said something that he gave Tyson some shoes that he can overfill. Like, not just feel, but you gave him some shit he can overfill. Now, I don't know if I believe in the cokehead. Like I just said, he's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, but he is making a comeback. And you said that Ali, you mentioned his struggles and deterioration. So if he do come back, some people look at Ali like the greatest heavyweight of all time. Some people. So if he do come back and he beat these heavyweights that everybody talking about after this long layoff, where did that rank him all time on heavyweight list? What does he do? You know what I mean? What happens right then and there to say,
damn?
You know what I mean? Because you did give him them shoes. I'm just saying that was interesting. You did now. Hey,
I won't lie. If he came back and he did that, I would actually be mad.
Where he ranking? Where is he gonna rank? Where though? Where? What would you snap him in there?
Gotta be top 10 or top 5, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. You get him that far, but definitely be a big story to tell, though, if he could do that.
Let's go. Klitschko, Wilder, Joshua. I don't know.
We're talking about pre-Tyson Fury, post Tyson Fury after Klitschko. We ain't counting that win. You gotta talk about this.
No. You gotta count his whole. You gotta count his what he's done.
Yeah. We understand that. We understand that. But I thought what you're referring to is what if he's able to. Go ahead.
What bodies would he need to for you to? What kind of bodies?
Well, the Klitschko win, obviously, you can't live off that forever. That was a good win, no question about it. So, if you get Wilder, if you get Joshua, and perhaps Ortiz, if that could happen, then that's all the 3 bodies you need. If you can get those 3 bodies, and
what's the heavyweight with the best 3 wins? What's a heavyweight where you can name just 3 wins they got? Where it's like Joshua, Klitschko, Fury. I mean Joshua, Klitschko, Wilder.
Well, the problem is that big in America right now, so it would get him some notoriety. It would definitely push him way up in the rankings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to be putting up as one of the greatest top. I don't know.
Oh shit! Fury about to do some. Look, see this shit right there, kind of making me a Fury fan because I like to see the impossible. See that's the shit Charlie just said. That Hollywood shit. I don't care, but at the end of the day, it's kind of. Hey, that motherfucker got some shit he could do, man. He might be able to just.
Yeah.
Man, if you go tell your grandkids I was fucked up and I still beat these clowns.
It worked for Jeffries.
Yeah.
I mean, Ali, it just don't generally work, man. Big layoffs, man.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Frank Bruno try that with Lennox Lewis and we saw what happened to him?
Also, this Brazil matchup with Wilder is going to be interesting as well because of the style clash.
Yeah, and they have beef there. There's history there. So
they're both torn. They're both torn.
Yep.
And one guy can take licks as well as dishing out licks. So one guy can dish out licks. We know that.
He has to rough Wilder up. That's what he needs to do. He needs to rough Wilder up. You know.
Yep.
No, that's what
it's going to be an interesting fight. It's not going to be like Joshua in Brazil. It's going to be different this time round.
But Joshua versus Brazil, Joshua could have taken him out in the second round.
He could have. He couldn't though, man. He didn't though because he couldn't.
No. Listen. There was a punch, There was a punch. He hit Brazil, and in the second round, and Brazil staggered all the way to the ropes. Joshua's gonna go after him, and it's like the ref was just holding him off, like. Even Joshua looked at him like, "What are you doing, bro?"
What I saw was that Brazil was just durable. He was like, look, your shots. He was trying to show him, like, listen, your shot, you can punch up everybody else, but you know what I mean. He looked like he was getting warmed up at about round 4, but it was too late by then. It just became one-sided, and he took too much of a beating. His eyes were closed.
Joshua was ill that fight as well. Well,
he was good in that fight. He had to be patient because he realized, shit, I can't just blast everybody out in the first 2 rounds.
Okay, baby.
That's why I can't wait for this for Wilder in Brazil, and I can't wait for if Miller beats Duapas. I can't wait for Miller and Joshua too.
What do you think about Miller versus Duapas, man?
Oh man, that's a look. Nothing against someone do a pod, man. That's a foregone conclusion. But let me say this though. Speaking of Miller,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Miller, he crashed Eddie Hearn's interview, and he told Eddie Hearn, "Hey, you promised me that fight with Joshua. What's going on? You gonna send me a contract?" I'm like, "Whoa, what does a fighter?" I never see a fighter do that to this a promoter like that before. Put him on blast in front of a interviewer like that. I don't know, man. Do you think Miller deserves a shot by doing something like that to his promoter? Put him on blast in front of everyone?
He's got to look good in a fight first.
Yeah, that's basically what Eddie Hearn was saying. So hopefully he looks better than he did against Marius Wack.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then it's going to be a hot summer, man, because we're going to see a good inside fight between Miller and Joshua. And I can't wait, because I want to see how each fighter adapts.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at Joshua's looking like the one that can adapt the best so far.
Yeah, I agree. But the question is, what about?
Go ahead. Bias. I'm just saying. No.
I agree with you on that. But the question is, what about the Povetkin shot then? Because if Joshua's going to fight Miller,
he need to fight him. Can't Povetkin free himself up for somebody else's resume?
Well, the problem
Why does
is,
Joshua have to?
yeah, no, I hear
Is
you, but here's
Povetkin relevant?
All the Joshua fans are like, why Povetkin, man?
well, here's the thing. The WBA has
He can
stated,
be.
yeah, here's the thing.
I don't see Povetkin being that dangerous. Go on, sorry.
No,
Dave.
no, he's not. But the only problem is going to Russia. That's the only thing that's everybody's worried about. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The WBA came out and said, no, if you're not going to fight, there'll be no exceptions. There's no unifications at all. You got to come up with a disagreement within 30 days, or it's going to go to a purse bid. Now, it's going to come up next week. They're going to go to that's coming up about next week or so, week and a half. So, the thing is that the Povetkin's team has been adamant. They said, we're not allowing any other fights. Joshua's got to fight us. No exceptions. He's got to fight us. So, that's the thing. If they're going to fight Big Baby Miller or Joshua, then what happens to the WBA title? Are they going to vacate it? Or what's going to happen?
Nah, he's going to fight, man. He's going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, the thing. Povetkin need to get the fuck out the way. I'm sorry, man. He's got to get out the way. I mean, get out the way, please, man.
You should drop that fucking belt, man. Drop that belt.
Why y'all acting like
he's just messing up the flow. He's just messing up the flow.
Drop that belt and have him fight Ortiz, man. Have him fight Ortiz for that fucking belt.
Shit, he's supposed to mess up the flow. That's what I want to do if I was a fighter. Mess up everybody. Shit, you ain't talking about me. I want to knock
but he's not going to be able to do it in the ring. I just mean in terms of time. He's just wasting time.
Oh, man,
Povetkin, man. He's so ordinary now, man. Come on, man. You lot can't really go into
stop digging up that fucking piece of shit.
David Price. Yeah, come on, man. That David Price fight. Come on, man.
Yeah, David Price, man. Who could knock out David Price? Come on, man.
Even knock out. He was fighting in Brentwood Leisure Center, right? Which I think holds about 500 people, if that. Right? It's a leisure center, literally. He was in there on that MTK card, right? And he couldn't knock out that guy within 6 rounds. That's David Price. So why are we? I know it was a gutsy performance and blah blah blah. It was exciting, but really and truly, he's very ordinary, man. Stylistically, it's just
when I watched that fight, the funniest thing was because David Price and Tony Bellew, they're boys, isn't it? When David Price got knocked down, Tony Bellew was screaming on the.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He's gonna get that revenge, bro. He going for that revenge, man. Soon. I'm bringing him to the UK.
This dude, man.
Oh, man. Go for that revenge, bro. That could sell a fight, man. Fuck that. Yeah. I'll be on it, bro. But he's not gonna fight it. He gonna want. Nah, he'll probably be like, yeah, I'll fight Bellew. That shit. He think that's easy work, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey man, somebody was in your comment section and said Earl Spence ducking Sean Porter. Did I hear that shit right?
No. Sean Porter. No, Sean Porter ducked Earl Spence. That's what he said.
Oh man. Yeah. I was listening to the video. Just hold on. I ain't on the link yet, but did I really just hear this shit?
No, maybe I misread it, but I did read it that he said he meant that Sean Porter ducked Earl Spence. Yeah, yeah. I know you would go ahead. No, that's what he said. Well, let's talk about the fights. I ain't got much time here, guys. But let's talk about the fights real quickly. What's coming up? I think tomorrow we got Isaac Dobby versus Jesse Magdaleno. That's definitely gonna be a good fight.
That's my fight right there. That's my fight right there. My boy Isaac's talking mad junk. You see I put a press conference in the elite boxing group. Yeah, like you should check it out, man. Isaac's talking mad shit. I'm trying to look for the Paddy Power thing that happened because they still haven't got it up, Charlie. Like I was looking to put a bet down on Isaac, just because I'm sure they got him an underdog. But he's talking mad shit. I ain't gonna lie, he's doing a very good job of getting under Jesse's nerves, and to be fair, it's probably a good idea because the fight is so under the radar, like no one even cares. Jesse's got the once he beat Benito Donaire, and he hasn't defended it over a year. So Isaac's saying, boy, like you ain't done nothing. If I get the belt, I'm the Lion of Africa. I will take your belt. He's even talking about man's daughter. Hey, listen, Isaac's deep, Isaac's deep. I don't know. Thing is, I'm worried about. Is Isaac going to talk too much and kind of poison the judges against him? But again, if I was Isaac, I ain't going to leave it. The thing is, even though Isaac's shorter, they have the same amount of reach. So it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? You look at Isaac, he's short. That means he's harder to hit. If you've got the same reach as the opponent, as beats know about Kawhi. If you look about Kawhi, he was short, like 5'6", but he had the reach of the guys he was fighting. That's why he was able to bash them up. Isaac's got the same kind of dimensions. You know what I mean? If you got someone short with long arms, and he can definitely hit. Hey, this will be a good fight. I'm making that fight. I'm looking for that fight to be fight the weekend. But it's interesting that there's no bets on it.
It's one of the worst opponents to fight because you think you're out of range and they're catching you with big long arms.
Yeah. The only thing is Jesse Magdalena's a southpaw, to see how Isaac does southpaw. But other than that, I'm expecting him to take the belt, and it's a shame. I'm trying to look for to put a bet down on Isaac, and there's nothing called Paddy Powell. I'm sure he's going to capture the belt. I'm very confident that he's going to capture the belt, boy. And listen, bro, man was saying Isaac looks like an alien, and they said, hey, this sport ain't about looking pretty, bro. So Jesse needs to mind himself with his blonde hair. You just
like the alien after the fight, bro. You know what I mean? You might be
yeah. I've seen many men.
I was waiting for him just to say. I thought he was gonna pull that monkey shit because he's gonna be ugly. I was like, man, you can call this man a monkey, bro.
Listen, probably Isaac purposely looked that way. He's got Bob Marley t-shirt. Isaac's just cool, He's from Ghana. You know what I mean? He's bringing it. He's really talking up the fight. And I've seen a lot of sometimes it can go back against you, but I don't know. I'll hopefully Isaac puts on a great performance and
I'm right his brother, man.
The Lion of Africa is calling you. Yes, you just said that Lion of Africa is calling you. I will win the belt and I will lay it at the feet.
EJ, you must know Dogmo.
I do. I do. I'm gonna get an interview straight off when he wins the belt. Like I talked to his agent.
That's why you're talking. I see. That's why you're talking about it. I see.
Well, I don't need to be talking to someone to pick them up, but I'm just saying, I was listening to when we break down fights, Lopez, you break down the dimensions, you break down, they're both even, but Jesse Magdalena, I think he might be underestimating him. He just probably think I'm just beating another African guy. This is how people make their names in boxing. The underdog come through. You don't think he's gonna win. I'm sure he's an underdog. He's gonna come to another man's hometown. I remember I was talking to Sean Porter before he fought Devin Alexander. Right, and he promised me he was gonna win. He promised me he was gonna win that fight, and I was like, "How you gonna beat Devin? Devin's pretty hard, and he went in there and upset Devin. So, hey, this ain't nothing new to me. Don't be trying to you know what I mean? I don't know what you're trying to pull, low place. We just bad ass the fight of the century. Go ahead with yourself. Get out of here. Fight of the century.
Mike interviewed him the other day, and I was just waiting.
I got him before him. I got him before him. I interviewed way before them dudes.
Hey, well, while we're just talking here, Wilder put out a video response to Joshua. Said, "Hey, look, dog, the money's in the bag. I'm waiting for your reply. Yes or no. Accept the offer."
What is trolling his ass?
Man's putting that pressure, boy.
Yeah, why not? Well, it's good talking points. It's good talking points. And end of the day, whether it's true or not, Eddie's gonna come out and put his spiel out, Wilder thing. But the thing is, hey, listen, it's good talking points. End of the day, just make the damn fight, man. I don't care about all other stuff. It's getting too technical for the layman to understand. The money, what's in the money, where's the bag money. Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Let's make the damn fight already. Just sign the damn thing, then let's get it on. You know what I mean?
Well, they'll meet tomorrow, so we'll see what comes out of that meeting.
So Eddie said, I don't know. I heard one from Wilder's side saying there's a meeting. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that Shelly Fink will come out and say the money's legit, and and you're gonna accept. Are you gonna? They want a verbal offer. They want a verbal exception. That's what they want. Not a written thing. They want a verbal. They want Andy just say, "Yeah, I accept verbally."
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they just want a verbal commitment, and then we'll draft the contract from there.
Yeah, that's what they want. And the thing, at that point, Eddie's not gonna let his guys. Well, I don't know what's going on. Where'd you get the money from? And he's actually naturally paranoid. What the fuck's going on? Because your world's been rocked. But hey, listen, American dudes, we see what happened, innit? I don't know about the meeting. I'm not worried about the meeting, to be fair. Because the thing is, he's over in America, right? And he's promoting Danny Jacobs and all them things. He's got big obligations. So, how long is that meeting gonna be? Is he gonna spend that much time? Because he's got the weigh-in. You know what I'm trying to say? Okay, what's tomorrow? He does have the press conference, right? Or the media workout. Was it media workout? Media workout.
Yeah, it's more a week out.
That's a break. Yeah. Probably gonna break, and then Friday. So what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday, actually. So late in the it's 5 hours backwards. So probably have the meeting somewhere, and they sit down in the morning and talk about it, whatever. And then after that, he's got the weigh-in. So he's got obligations going on. Is his mind going to be in the right place to hear some bullshit? I don't know, man. I can't guarantee that anything's going to be hashed out that day.
His job is to multitask, to be at the weigh-in, to negotiate the money. That's his job. You don't have to.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not really holding back on that. I just like the idea that, you know, the dude that is saying he ain't got no money and he should accept this and that. He keeps he's still on the thing, it's your biggest ever payday. But the dude come back with some money. I mean, that's how you count up someone. You actually bring the money. It's like some mob move. Mob, you know what I mean? Like some gangster move. Like, you ain't got the money. You ain't got the money. How about this? And like, oh, you actually got the money. I got the money. Now what? I am what? Like,
well, hey, before I take off, but before you came on, EJ, I wanted to. I actually wanted to clarify the rules and regulations on the WBC.
I listened to it, man. I heard it already.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You heard it. Yeah, it's fucked up though. What's your take on that?
Eddie Hearn, I reckon this is just my opinion, not necessarily a fact. This is my opinion. I think Eddie Hearn knew all this already, but you know, to the broadcast and Sky is gonna keep saying that you're eliminator because if you win the silver belt, everyone knows the silver belt is not an eliminator belt. You know what I'm saying? Silver belt is a silver belt. If you want an eliminator for the WBC, then you get yourself an eliminator. You don't have to go through the silver belt, and then you can do that way. Some people have done that way. But basically, if you want that contendership for the thing, you just go straight for it. But what Eddie Hearn has been doing, he's been developing Dillian Whyte, and that's what it is. He's been developing. But because of Dillian Whyte's sake and everyone else, he's like, oh yeah, you know, oh, well, this is definitely eliminated. He's spinning it to the crowd. He knows it wasn't a thing. He knows it's not, man. He knows it wasn't because, as Dan pointed out, it's there in their ruling. And I'm sure Eddie Hearn's not stupid. He's read it already. So he knew this already. He's just going to make up fuss. And that's why he's not preferring going to the bus. But publicly, he's going to say to Dillian Whyte and thing, oh, yeah, we thought this was eliminated. How come we got no? Everyone knew beforehand that there was another eliminator. Everyone knew before he went into the Lucas fight, there was another eliminator. And the silver, like I said, the silver belt is not the thing about. What usually happens is that a guy vacates the belt, then you get elevated into that position. So Eddie Hearn probably knew that there was going to be another eliminator. The only problem is that they have to fight OT.
Well, Lucas was ranked number 15. How could that even be a title eliminator?
Thank you. Hold on. Before that, he was on drug trust, and the year up. So how can that?
In order for it to be a title eliminator, it has to be a top 10 fighter. This dude was ranked number 15.
Where was Eric Molina ranked? Do you know?
11.
He's been active though. He's been active.
He ranked though because he lost to
No, you could be. Yeah,
I have no clue. I have no clue. Where Eric Molina's ranked.
In the top 15.
He shouldn't be. Eric Molina shouldn't be ranked in the top 30 though. I mean, that's not much.
See, they rankings this for the ranking slow. But what I'm trying to say is this, right? Eddie Hearn beforehand knew this. I'm echoing someone. Beforehand, Eddie Hearn knew all this beforehand. This is known beforehand. We knew that this is not a final eliminator before he even went into the Lucas fight. Lucas been out for a year, right? First off, he was from another sanctioning body anyway, right? So how did he even get ranked on the WBC coming out of nowhere? The WBC.
Eddie knew that the fight against Lucas Brown wasn't the final eliminator. He knew it wasn't.
Yeah, that's right.
No. So what he was expecting, at the least, if they didn't install him as the mandatory without holding the silver belt, that he would fight the final eliminator. But no, what they did, they took a fight that wasn't the final eliminator, and then they elevated it to a final eliminator. And now Brazil is mandatory when he was second behind Dillian for the whole year.
As Dan pointed out, it's in their discretion to do what they want to do. That's the bottom line in what it is. It's their discretion. And then when you have the WBC silver belt, that's what it is. It's like if you got the WBC international belt, right? When you get one of the WBC belts, you get into their rankings. So he's making his way up the rankings. I don't know how Lucas even got in there because I don't know what eliminators or anything Lucas. But then what it is, they made a voluntary. This is why Lucas got in. Lucas got in is because Eddie Hearn ripped to the WBC. I'm presuming this is not a fact. I'm just presuming and said we want to make Lucas fight for our belt. So it's an option belt. And the WBC probably agreed off and signed off to it. Said okay, then fine. But that wasn't a WBC ranked opponent. That's how that went. If Lucas would have won, one minute. If Lucas would have won, then Lucas would have got into that ranking. That's why Lucas took it as a risk. But if that wasn't one of their opponents, now what the WBC have said, these are one of our opponents that we want you to fight. Not Eddie Hearn's hand-picked opponents. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's how that works.
But what eliminated this Devon fight to be mandatory?
I have no idea. That's so far back, Beast. I couldn't even tell.
Like, he didn't fight any. No, that's the answer. He didn't fight any.
If you have the answer to it, then why not ask me the question? I don't know that.
Because you're saying that eliminated.
I'm just telling you what's happening currently. Like I said, and like I said to you, this is my opinion. This is my opinion of how Eddie has been maneuvering. But what I'm saying overall, he knew this already. He knows this already. It's like when he was doing Kell Brook against the when Kell Brook beat Sean Porter. We're gonna fight Marquez. We're gonna fight Pacquiao. We're gonna fight all these names. And every time it came through, oh, you know what? He has to fight his mandatory. We have to get our mandatory out of the way, and then we see what's going on. He kept spinning us year in, year out, spinning us off on the same thing. Oh, we got to get a mandatory. Then finally, Jesse Vargas said, "Okay, I've got the WBA belt. You've got thing belt. Let's get it on." And then he had Woody had and said, "Oh, they're off there. They're asking for too much. They're asking for too much." Nah. So you put him in against Golovkin.
Yeah, but even Bob Arum came out and clarified that, because that's when the Brit exit shit, all that shit happened, innit? So basically, Kell Brook would have been fighting for peanuts.
Doesn't matter. Well, look at it now. Look where his eye is now. Look where he is now. Who gives a shit? You pay for a belt. Like, who gives a shit?
At that time, you're world champion, though.
No, listen. Look at him now. But look at him. Look where he is now. See what I'm trying to say to you? What in boxing, there's options, there's windows open, right? You've got Eddie's stingy. Let's get it right. He's stingy and doesn't want to pay out. And the reason why his heart is beating so fast is because they've got the money, now they can control the board. That's why he's bloody bopping. His heart's beating. Because if you've got 50 yeah, I'm trying to tell you, that's what it is. It comes down. Everyone knows you bring 50 mil to the party, you bloody control the board. That's what it is. Right. You control the board. And that's all I'm saying. So, you know, that's how I see it.
Hey, guys. Hey, I know this was a short hangout, but I got to wrap it up because I got some things to do. But I'll come back on later. But I thank you guys for coming on. I want to thank the panel that's been joining me, Boxing Beats and Rhymes. I got Ben Umar up in here, Dwayne Jones, Charlie Brown Boxing, EJ Boxing Live, and I had Low Place on for a minute. I want to thank the commenters in the comment section. Thank you for coming on. Now, I just wanted to clarify that WBC rule. I know it's a fucked up situation, but it is what it is. So we'll be back on later, guys. Until then, we are out. Peace.